Yo, this is Super Steve. I'm working my way through the books of the Bible. We're gonna start with Genesis, the first few chapters. Here we go.
The first chapters of Genesis. Ain't no other story like this. It cannot be missed. It's indispensable. As the story is told from the pages of old, God's grace and mercy unfolds in His word, the Bible.
In the beginning, God made the earth and the sky. He made the sun for the day and the moon for the night. There was water all over with the oceans deep. Then He brought up the land and made the mountains steep. He made the plants in the earth and all the trees grew high. He put the fish in the sea and all the birds took flight. But while they were up there flying round and round, back on the ground they could not be found. For Adam, the first man, a suitable mate from all the living creatures. So God did create the first woman called Eve. And after everything was made, He said that it was good.
Rested, I had it made in the shade.
Adam and Eve enjoying the Garden of Eden. God said,
see all that fruit, yeah, you can eat them, but the fruit of this one tree, you need to leave them.
Then the serpent came in and tried to deceive him.
The first chapters of Genesis. Ain't no other story like this. It cannot be missed. It's indispensable.
Woo!
As the story is told from the pages of old, grace and mercy unfolds in His word, the Bible.
Now this serpent, he was definitely a slippery fella. He came up to Eve and said,
Surely I didn't tell you the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil is forbidden, hey?
It was at this point she should have turned and walked away, but she ate, gave it to her mate. Things didn't go great. God got irate and said,
get out of this place, let's start with you, you evil deceptive snake. From now on, I'm gonna make you move on your belly, which will look kinda silly. And between you and the son of Eve, I will put hostility. He will strike your head, you will strike his heel. Yo, hey there, Eve, do not feel like you're getting off scot-free. For you see, I will intensify your labor pains when you have a baby. And Adam, you will have to work the lands with your hands and eat the plants of the field, cause you're trying to conceal that you ate from the tree which I said do not eat.
what? He covered them in animal skins and said,
Stop moving your feet.
He sent them out because they didn't obey. If only they had listened to what God said.
The chapters of Genesis. Ain't no other story like this. It cannot be missed. It's indispensable. As the story is told from the pages of old, God's grace and mercy unfolds in His word, the Bible.
Adam and Eve didn't listen to God, they disobeyed Him. That was the beginning of sin. What's its meaning again? It's the attitude and action that says I am God and God is not. But luckily God gave humankind another shot. But man had its own plan and time again ran from the will of God, understand? Take the first two boys of Adam and Eve, Abel and Cain, who did something you won't believe. When bringing an offering to God, young Abel brought the firstborn of the flock with the fat portions to the table. But Cain just brought some grain and some fruit, in terms of which God liked more, there was no dispute. This made Cain mad, and he did something bad. He killed the only brother that he had and tried to cover it up, just like his parents had done when they had sinned against God back in the Garden of Eden.
The chapters of Genesis. Ain't no other story like this. It cannot be missed.
Here we go, yeah.
As the story is told from the pages of old, God's grace and mercy unfolds in His word, the Bible.
Just another example, a sample of man's rebellion. But don't leave me yet, don't turn the telly on. This is just the beginning, when man started sinning. So you may just ask, why am I grinning? Back in the garden when God doled out the consequences, there was an illusion with no confusion as to who the son is. The one with the bitten feet who would defeat by crushing the head, making death dead, as the Holy Bible said, is God's own son, Jesus Christ, the Savior for everyone. And I know that He died for me to set me free from my sin with grace and mercy, so I can live with God eternally. Woo!
The chapters of Genesis. Ain't no other story like this. It cannot be missed. It's indispensable. As the story is told from the pages of
They're so old.
God's grace and mercy unfolds in His word,
Grace and
the
mercy,
Bible.
yeah.
The chapters of Genesis. Ain't no other
Genesis,
story
Genesis,
like
Genesis.
this. It
can't do